This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1669, Comic Talk!
You got it on Wednesday, and you was psyched about it, going to the volume up. These guys will talk about it, everything that geeks love. From tapes to laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read. And comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek. Uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Brian Chrisman.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Adam Murdo. And I'm Chris Everly.
Comic Geek Speak.
And that was Chris Eberly in there. We had a little bit of a snag with hearing your voice there, sir. But can you hear us now, okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We
Yeah,
can.
yep.
I mean, I had the music up too loud, perhaps. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is our Comic Talk, our all-over-the-place stuff, randomness and mishmash and all that other stuff. So we're going to go all over the place here. But first, a word from our sponsor. This episode of Comic Geek Speak is brought to you by Zia Comics. They're actually a comic shop out in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And they have a podcast, a video podcast of their, also an audio podcast, where they discuss anything pop culture related, mostly comic book related news, include movies and TV shows. They also talk about the local comic book conventions, which they own and run. They have the Las Cruces Comic Con and the El Paso Comic Con. And the next El Paso Comic Con is April 13th, 14th, and 15th of 2018. So check out their website, ziacomics.com, as well as their YouTube channel where you can see their video podcasts at Zia Comics, and also on the talknerdypodcast.com. Once again, ziacomics.com. And speaking of comic shops,
And
how's that for a segue, Chris? The floor is yours, sir.
Pantsaroo, I appreciate that, my friend.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you very much. Well, my whole life for the past month, going through the end of this month, outside of my teaching and family, is preparing for one of the biggest sales we've ever going to hold in my shop. In only 20 years we've been in business. I just bought a collection with over 12,000 comics in it.
wow.
And there's more to come. So, September 30th, Wild Pig Comics, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. October 1st, 12 noon to 8 p.m. Over 40,000 comics on the sales floor. That's over 150 long boxes, Silver Age for the present, wall books, below guide sticker price, 50-cent comics. Everything is 25% off. And I'll say it right here. No one else in my state comes close to my availability at what I price books at. And I think everybody in the studio can vouch for that.
Testify!
No one touches that. All right? So if you want to find a great selection of comics at unbeatable prices, you owe it to yourself to get over to my shop on the weekend. I have people who travel sometimes from hundreds of miles, literally, to get there. People out of state. We're pulling out all the stops. We got over 2,000 new used trades, also 25% off. Toon tumblers, games, all 25% off. Raffle, Saturday, 3 p.m. approximately. All right, we're still assembling items, but we're going to have, for sure, Harlequin #1, near mint, IDW Jack Kirby New Gods Artist Edition, IDW Jack Kirby Forever People Artist Edition. We're going to have a 2-in-1 raffle item. Incredible Hulk 180 in fine, and Incredible Hulk 182 in fine, very fine.
Wow.
All right, we're going to have The Strangers in Paradise, the hardcover deluxe book edition of the entire series, one of the greatest comic titles of all time. It can be yours for as low as $1. I'm putting in more items. I don't have everything assembled yet. There's going to be at least 10 items minimum in this raffle. Half the proceeds will go to the Hero Initiative in the name of our beloved departed comrade, Jamie D. Raffle tickets $1 a piece, or you can buy 6 for $5. And just comics. I'm just I can't walk in my garage right now. I'm going to have to rent a truck again to get all this stuff over to the store, which is a good thing. That weekend. So you're looking for runs of Marvel, DC, Silver Age 4. We have lengthy runs of pretty much every major title, a lot of the idiosyncratic titles as well. this is a sale not to be missed. WildPickComics.com, 14 South Michigan Avenue, Kenilworth, New Jersey. September 30th, 10 to 6. October 1st, noon to 8. Please join us.
And as always, arrive early for best selection.
I know you'll be there early, Pansy.
I'm there right now. That's me knocking on your door. Hello, it's Pads.
Chris.
Shane, it's so good to hear your voice, brother.
It has been a while, that's for sure.
Yep. Damn glad you're with us.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. You have something to go there, Adam?
Nope, just saying amen to Shane's being present and being glad of it.
All right. Well, I want to get a little bit of, I won't say negative news, but not the best news. Just some little things out of the way first, and they have some good, happy stuff afterwards. The iPhone app, well, first of all, CGS has its own app.
Yes.
Available for iPhone and Android. Now, actually, it was available for both. I don't believe it's actually available for either of them any longer. And I just got a notification on my phone that the CGS app for the iPhone needs to be updated because it will not work with iOS 11, which just came out today.
Oh, joy.
And somebody mentioned that on the forum, so I wanted to bring it to wider attention. The CGS app, we actually at CGS had nothing to do with the app. So we have no control over it. I have no idea who developed it. It hasn't been updated in a while. So it appears, at least for the iPhone, if you update to iOS 11, it will not work. And I use it all the time as well. Our apologies for that. I'm not sure of the Android status. I know some people who have it that works fine, some not so fine. Because, we used to put out some exclusive episodes just for the app. Mm-hmm. There was some bonus content for the app. And it also was able to search our vast archives, as opposed to which I believe iTunes and other podcast apps might only have the last 300 or so. I know it's above my knowledge for this technology.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get it out there that it looks like, at least for the iPhone or for iOS, the app will no longer work going forward if you upgrade to iOS 11. I talked to Brian Deemer, our illustrious founding father, who is tech person. He's guys, I have no idea what to tell you. So, if anybody else out there knows enough to, I don't even know how.
Yeah, I don't even know how they get in the coding to.
I don't know. But if you have any suggestions on how to get it fixed or know anybody, whatever, you always drop us a line at comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. But other than that, you can still get us through the website, through various podcast applications, podcatcher, whatever this. I'm not sure. I just get it through the CGS app. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Ah, crap.
Also on the comic forums, vanillaforums.com, there were a few posts about worrying how I'm going to be now that Toys R Us has officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the U.S. and Canada. I can't really say anything more than what you've seen in the news, and there's all kinds of rumors out there. I'm not aware of it. As far as I can tell, from my perspective, it's business as usual.
Until otherwise told.
Yeah, until otherwise, we're gearing up for the holiday season.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to going to overnights because I get a lot more work done overnights and don't have to deal with the wackiness of the daytime.
Yep.
But thank you for people who are concerned about me. That's very, very kind. But I can't really comment on that too much. It's above my pay grade, as I like to say. But it's very nice when people consider, worry about me. It's wow, that's really weird.
It's all right. You got your Scrooge McDuck vault all set up.
And now Chris doesn't know this, but Shane and Adam know a little bit about this. So also, this past weekend, which we'll get to a little bit, was the annual CGS retreat out in Stone Harbor. Well, on the way home, Pants got in a little bit of a fender bender. I'm okay, although I am going to go visit the doctor because the last time I was in one of these, it turned out to be a little problematic down the line. Mm-hmm. So I'm also in the market for a new vehicle.
Oh, Pantsy, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm currently without a Pantsmobile.
Yeah, Pantsmobile 2 has suffered.
Yeah, I actually
Was this on the Parkway?
This was on the Garden State Parkway, yes. I was just about to exit onto the Atlantic City Expressway. I won't bore you with the details, but I'm fine, and no one was injured other than my pride and the Pantsmobile. So I have a rental right now, so I can go around and find a new vehicle. Still somehow hoping to make it to the Wild Pig show, Chris. Hopefully I have a new vehicle of my own by then.
Oh, Pants, if there's a problem, let me know. We'll work something out. You got to be there, man.
I know I gotta be there. I gotta be there like right now. Hello.
That reminds me, I forgot to mention another big raffle item: the latest Thanos statue, where he's triumphantly holding up the cosmic cube.
Very nice.
That's a beauty.
Nice.
You got to be there for the raffle, Pants. That's the
I know. My $52 worth of tickets is legendary.
You know what? Speaking of 52, totally off topic, I'm interrupting you. I was reading in the car today, waiting for the kids to get out of school.
As you were parked, right?
As I was parked. The Justice League A New Beginning trade of the Bwahaha League. Son of a gun, if I didn't remember that even back then they used 52 to do a couple things in a couple issues.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So now I'm going to go on a little bit of search, I think, at times, to see how far back 52 is referenced in DC.
Well, one of the earliest times we've mentioned on the show more than once is in Flash 123, which is the Flash of Two Worlds, when Barry Allen vibrates to Earth 2, and he looks in the phone book for Jay Garrick's address, sees it 5252.
But I all the times I've read that, I did not remember that line in there as I'm reading. I'm going, oh, man, 52 in there twice. That was awesome.
I think we still hear some echoing. I'm not sure who that is, but we'll soldier on here. So, in the studio, we recently got a couple of packages, which I have Chris and Adams in the studio, and Shane already received his I Have Wine and Wine. And I'm going to read you what it is. It's actually a Blu-ray of the serial back from the 1940s, The Adventures of Captain Marvel, newly remastered from a 4K scan from Paramount Pictures archives, one of the greatest serials of all time. Considered by many to be the finest serial ever made, Adventures of Captain Marvel chronicles the exploits of Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest mortal, as he combats the Scorpion, a hooded villain intent on obtaining 6 optical lenses that turn ordinary stones into gold. The Adventures of Captain Marvel marked the very first time a comic book superhero's exploits were transferred to the silver screen, and the resulting 12-chapter serial has yet to be equaled in excitement and entertainment. And this was released by Kino, K-I-N-O, Lorber Studios on September 19th, today as we record this. And looking at the special features on this, and there's audio commentary by some film historians like Sir Jerry Beck and Leonard Maltin. But also listed on here are some people named Chris Eberly, Shane Kelly, and Adam Murdo. Guys, what's all that about?
That was a good time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the whole thing was arranged by a listener and now friend of ours named Konstantin Nasser, who he's like a sound producer and engineer. He lives out in California. He's listened to our show for a while. His production company is called Rivendell Films, which gives you an idea of the pedigree of nerddom that he brings to all of his projects. And he reached out to us. He had wanted to work with us for some time, and he thought this Captain Marvel serial Blu-ray release was the perfect excuse. And so he tapped us to record, but at first it was supposed to be just one episode's worth of commentary, but then we expanded it to like 3, I think, in the end. And so there we are. You can hear our voices on the commentary tracks of this new DVD release of this very historically important and still enjoyable after 75 years film serial.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things was a week ago when I guess the preview DVDs, Blu-rays went out, Leonard Maltin tweeted out that to us, and actually everybody else saw it, that Comic Geek Speak, really enjoying your commentary tracks on the new Kino Lorber Blu-ray of Captain Marvel. I'm learning a lot. Well done. I almost plots. That was super duper awesome.
We taught Leonard Maltin some things. I wouldn't have thought we had it in us.
No, that was very cool. Yeah, I sent that to my wife and said, "Oh my God, look at this!"
Yes, and we get nothing out of this. No monetary, no money exchanged hands. No money changed hands.
Nope,
not at all. No,
that was very cool.
Nope, we get our comp copies of the Blu-ray, and I'm perfectly happy with that. It's just really cool to have been a part of this.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But you can get your copy directly from Kino Lorber. It's also on other fine online retailers, Amazon, I think Walmart. I did tweet out the link this morning about that on the CGS Twitter feed.
With the descriptions on Amazon as well, so I screen captured that, saved it onto a document. That's going to my archives.
But I love how they mentioned that you guys all fall in the category of film historians.
Yeah. I'll take it.
So
that was really cool.
That's very cool.
And they're great. It's a lot of fun, man. The production value on that for the time is out of this world.
So you've already seen yours.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because the others are sitting in the studio. And actually...
Well, and we were watching the episodes as we were commenting on them in here. So, yeah, they're really well done.
All right. Moving right along. As I mentioned, we had the CGS weekend down at Stone Harbor where Adam and his family were opening their house to us. And unfortunately, it was only myself, Danny, and Bill who can make it down.
Yeah.
But
everyone else got hindered by life.
Such is September, I'm afraid. It's one of the best times to be down in Stone Harbor because the climate is very nice and the place isn't too crowded, but the place isn't too crowded for a reason, unfortunately, and that is that people typically have other things going on in their lives in September. And so it was just Brian, Danny, and Bill who were able to come and join us this time out.
Yeah, but I had a very nice time. Got in there Friday, and Adam and I played a couple of games of DC Deck Builder Rivals, Batman versus the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Both of which Hairpants won.
Oh, I wasn't going to mention that, but if you must.
Did he have cards up his sleeve?
You were too modest. I tipped your hand for you there.
Oh, thank you very much. Then Danny and Bill came down Saturday, and we got a couple other games in of the new multiverse box.
Yep. That's a nice box.
It is. You have yours now?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Okay. So when's the game night?
I have no idea.
Come on.
Yeah, but that's a neat box.
Yeah, that's very cool. So we played that. We played also a version with the Rogues.
Oh my God! I have a funny story to tell about my Rogues pack. So as I was getting the expansion packs, I did not open them. I just stored them away until whenever I get to play. Well, when I got the multiverse box and found out all these slots and all those plastic cards to nice and organize it, I opened everything up and couldn't resist it. And in my Rogues pack were 2 packs of Rogues. I got duplicates of everything.
What?
I opened the box, 2 packs of cards of everything came out. I'm like, wait a minute. Double. All right. So I got duplicates of everything in that pack, in that expansion pack.
In the box?
With 2.
One box had 2 sets in it? Wow.
I couldn't believe it. Well, great backups.
Every now and then it's going to be Shane now, apparently.
I guess. That was just made me laugh.
And I actually made it down to the beach and went into the ocean for a little while.
I saw the Batman towel. Very nice. Did you?
Unfortunately, the lifeguards did not leave us to our own devices as much as I would have liked. We actually got whistled out of the water for not being directly in front of a lifeguard chair.
Oh, really?
A pain.
Oh, jeez.
So I can vouch that both Pants and Danny did go into the water up to about...
Wow.
Bill and I were a little more adventurous, but we were thwarted by the wandering lifeguard who whistled us out.
Who ratted you out?
Yes. How dare they treat the avenging son of Stone Harbor so shabbily.
Imperious Rex!
Did you have the Birds of Prey pack, too?
No, that actually is in my upcoming DC Bashman for September, because that came out, I guess on September 5th, a week afterwards, so I'm still waiting to get that, and then add that to the multiverse, and at some point have a game night where we and try that as well.
I think the only things I'm missing currently are the Teen Titans and Forever Evil
base
games.
sets.
Everything else I have.
I got everything. I went to, I can sometimes get obsessed with some things. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So I got that. I got a bunch of the promotional, cards and what have you there.
I do think I'm missing a couple of them now that you say the promotional cards. I do think there's 2 I'm missing.
Okay, well, you better get on that.
Yeah, sure.
But that was fun. And then we also played, are you familiar with the Love Letter game, Shane?
No. There is a Batman.
Yes. Well,
I know of it. I've never seen it or played it.
Well, that's a hoot and a half. We played that for a while. And there's also a version called Lovecraft Letter, where it takes, the whole thing and themed it with H.R. Lovecraft and, Cthulhu's it, and it's a lot of fun. You can be insane. And it's a lot of fun. So it was fun to have some gaming involved down there at Stone Harbor. So again, Adam, thanks to you and your folks for your hospitality.
Well, more than welcome. We're just pleased that you guys could come and have a good time. And maybe next year we'll round up. We'll choose a better weekend and round more people up. More fun.
We'll make every effort to be there, brother. Thank you.
Much appreciated, Chris. Already looking forward to it.
Indeed.
Yes. All right. If nothing else, I'm still going to ramble on here. Oh, I thought it was kind of funny after our last chat with Uncle Sal.
Yeah.
That I've seen pictures of him. He's down with his family and at Disneyland.
I thought that
Disney
too.
World again, down in Florida.
I did have to laugh at that.
As he's going on and on about how they do this, and it's like the Bataan Death March and all that stuff, and there he is again.
Going down.
Well, I think it might have also been his anniversary.
Yeah.
It's like, so I was, I almost forgot to actually get some actual comic talk in here. The weekend before Stone Harbor, I actually was in New Jersey visiting Danny and Bill at their place. It was a stopover before I went to a comic art con in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So we hung out and, again, played some games on Friday night. But, Danny was getting me a drink of water, and she brings out this Toon Tumbler glass of Love and Capes, Tom Zoller.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I never knew that was, it was at Baltimore exclusive a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I said, so Danny, how are you liking Time and Vine? And she goes, what's Time and Vine? I said, oh, my God. And this is another reason. Well, this is probably the reason why Danny's not on the show. I have a few people asking about that. She's just not reading comics and not, into that scene anymore. Something else is going on. So she didn't know that one of her favorite creators, Tom Zoller, has a book out called Time and Vine, which deals with time travel and wine. She's a huge wine fan. She goes, how did I not know about that? So I brought it down for her to Stone Harbor to read the first 2 issues. So she read it, and she loved it, and I love it, too. I think I might have mentioned it on there before, during maybe either previews or if I read issue 1.
I'm sure.
But it's about this woman, Megan Howe, who goes out for an evening with some of her friends at a winery and meets Jack Cadle, the owner of the place. And it turns out it's an enchanted winery where when you drink a bottle of wine from a certain year, you go back in time to that year. Nice. And
I think you did say that.
The story's unfolding from there. It deals with, you also hear mothers involved and other things going on, and I loved Love and Capes from Tom Zoller, also Long Distance, his book, and Time and Vine. This comes out from IDW. 2 issues are out. I'm not sure if it's an ongoing, if it's a limited series, but I'm in it for right now and enjoying it quite a lot. So a little bit of comic talk there. And I was happy to get Danny to start reading some comics. I couldn't believe she didn't know about Time and Vine.
I wanted to ask Adam a question a couple months ago, and this is going back for when I wanted to bring it up a long time ago and just haven't been on in a while. So I sat down probably in July and read Infinity Gauntlet. First time I've read it all the way through.
Oh.
And it was good, but I wasn't overly impressed. Do I need to read the next 2 volumes to really get the whole story?
I actually would recommend trying Infinity War.
Okay.
Infinity Crusade, anybody can, unless you're really gung-ho into Starlin and Lim's Infinity Vision, you can stop short of Infinity Crusade. But
Okay.
Infinity War, I really do like that story. I mean, it's what got me into comics in the first place.
Right.
And having read both it was years between when I first read Infinity War as it was coming out in 1992 and when I went back and read Infinity Gauntlet. To this day, Infinity Gauntlet, whatever its strengths as a story, just doesn't thrill me in quite the same way that Infinity War did.
I mean, the artwork's out of this world. It's beautiful. But the story...
Yeah, like half Paradise and half Limb.
Yeah, I just kept going with the story, and I get to the end, I'm like, oh, okay, well, it was okay, but I was expecting Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm like, it was all right.
Shane, it might be a case of where sometimes with certain movies it's the same thing. It's so built up in the media and the public, and then when you actually experience, you're like, oh, this wasn't what I thought it would be. I would suggest this, especially on the eve of the new Avengers film down the road. I would read it again.
Okay.
Give it another try, because I read it again not too long ago, and I found myself really enjoying it.
All right. And it's got a prized place on my shelf in the trade section. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I have The only issue I have is number 1, and I think it's signed by George Perez. It was given to me by a comic shop I went to at that time. I've always loved the art when I paged through it, and I tried to read it a couple times and just put it down and read other stuff. But this time I just sat down and read all the way through it, and it was okay. I kept going. It wasn't like I was bored out of my mind. I was just like Chris said, it was so built up from so many people talking about it over the years. I was expecting the clouds to part or something, and it was okay. So I thought, well, the next time I get to talk to Adam about it, I wanted to see what he recommended reading next to make it a more fulfilling story.
Kiki, try Infinity War. I do recommend that, and maybe try some of the lead-up stories, in particular the Thanos Quest 2-issue miniseries. If the issues of that can be found certain places, I'm sure it's been collected once or twice. It tells the story of how Thanos traveled around and assembled the 6 gems for the Infinity Gauntlet in the first place, having to outwit or outplay or outfight various elders of the universe in order to gain his little prizes. So that's a fun story too. It'll give you a little more context.
Friendly back issue warning: the Thanos Quest 2-parter is very expensive.
Okay.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, that explains why I had to go to Canada in the late 90s to find it. But yeah, and what was the other point I was going to make? Nuts. Try listening to our Book of the Month Club episode about it, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, and I thought I was on that, but I'll have to go back and listen to it again. Cause
yeah, I would have said you were, too, but I remember that Danny and Bill were, Danny in particular was not really enthused about the Infinity Gauntlet either. To her, it was just kind of like a big adolescent male power fantasy, and she's got a pretty good point.
Oh, yeah. And I've never forgotten that I've read something, but maybe this is a case where I did and completely forgot that I read it. But it sure didn't seem it.
Having a Deemer moment.
That could very well be.
Well, now, Chris, I know your time is a little limited. Do you have anything you wanted to bring up to the kids?
Yes, a couple things. The kids, aren't you charming? I want to comment on the latest issue of Back Issue, number 100.
Okay.
Which is have you received this yet, Shane?
No, I'm getting it in my next shipment.
Okay. It's magnificent. Now, I go on ad infinitum about how much I love Tomorrow's and all their publications, and that's going to be definitely doubly the case here because this is the 100th issue, which is a milestone for any magazine, especially a magazine in such a niche market like this. Mm-hmm. And it's dedicated to the history of fanzines and fandom from the Bronze Age. So there's a whole history of Foom, for example, in here.
Wow.
There's a talk about the Super DC Con of 1976, the history of the Buyer's Guide for Comic Fandom. But I haven't read the whole thing yet. But what I really enjoyed, there's an interview with Robert Overstreet. And I've been buying that press cut since I was a kid, and I realized, you know what? I don't know anything about Robert Overstreet. I just know the guy's name. Mm-hmm. And they have an in-depth interview about his life, how and why he started the guide. It's fantastic.
Wow, nice.
And I really appreciate it because I knew nothing about the man. So it was thrilling to read about how this all came to be. So for that reason alone, this magazine is worth picking up. But it's just chock full of just fantastic features regarding fans and fandom in the 1970s. Remember, like Bronze Age is sort of the bailiwick of Back Issue, so you're getting a full-on taste of that with this publication. Plus, the cover has every single cover of Back Issue on the front within the number 100, which is a wonderful visual. I also just read Dark Side, the Oversized Special by Mark Evanier and art by Scott Collins. As we know, just from our recent Kirby Spotlights, Evanier was an assistant to Jack Kirby, knew him for well over 20 years. And this is his tribute, because DC's doing a whole series of tribute books to Kirby during his centennial. And Evanier and Collins take on Darkseid. And it's an excellent story. I love Collins' art style, very much obviously influenced by Kirby. And it's just a take on Darkseid through the eyes of this, hanging by their fingernails resistance cell, trying to, restore hope and defiance to Apocalypse. So, great story. Then they have an OMAC story by Paul Levitz and Phil Hester, which is also a lot of fun. And they reprint a Kirby Bronze Age Forever People story, The Young Gods of Supertown. which is immensely fun. And then they also have a Atlas era reprint, Tales of the Unexpected number 12, art and ink by pencils and inks by Kirby. So well worth the how much was this? $4.99 price.
$4.99.
Yep, good stuff in here. Highly recommend it.
Oh, yes. I picked up a couple of those Kirby oversized specials, too, Chris. I got
As
the
did I.
Manhunter and the Sandman. And all of them, I think every one of this little series of specials they're doing concludes with a little historical essay by Mark Evanier about
That's correct, yep.
character feature, which is good, excellent reading in and of itself.
Yeah.
I also wanted to point it out that looking through the previews last time, that Jason Aaron apparently is going to be leaving the Star Wars flagship title, and Kieran Gillen is coming on. Did you see that, Shane?
I did. That's okay.
Are you kidding? I'm celebratory because as much as I loved Aaron's run, he could write the book forever as far as I'm concerned, which no one can do. So if they're going to transition, going to the guy who wrote what I think is one of the greatest Star Wars titles ever in comics, which was that Darth Vader run
Sure.
Gillen did, I'm more than happy to see what he's going to do with the Star Wars flag title. So I'm excited about that.
I always just get nervous when things are going so well for a title and they change writers for any reason. I mean, it's fine. I hope it's really good. I'm sure it will be, but it's been outstanding so far.
Absolutely. Consistently great. So just a couple things I wanted to say about just some things I've read recently. I'm sorry I have to go, gentlemen. I have to go pick up my kid.
No, that's fine.
But again, I hope you can all make it to the sale on the 30th and or the 1st. Pants will get you there one way or the other, because the raffle's not the raffle without you there turning beet red and getting all excited as you plunk down your tickets. So.
If Pants wasn't there, people might actually have a chance.
And just to let listeners know, we're going to be adding, by the end of the week, we're going to have a lot more images on our Facebook page of raffle items, of like the sheer amount of books we're going to have. So just stay posted for that as well. So,
very good.
Brothers, forgive my early departure.
No, not at all, Chris. We understand, and the listeners do as well.
I understand fully.
Shane, I'm going to give you a call soon. I want to catch up.
Sounds good.
All right, brothers. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too.
Good night, Chris.
Take care. Good night.
Bye-bye. Now, Adam can't hear this, I don't think, with the audio.
Yes, I can.
You can? Well, yes, as you can tell, that's once again time for Muddle the Murder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't hear the music if it's playing. I can hear you talking.
Yes. Yes, time for Muddle the Murder.
Which is it, penultimate?
There's quite a lot. There's
right.
quite a lot of questions in the queue.
Nice.
Very. Very.
Thank you for alliterating, sir.
You're very welcome. I love alliterating. So, up for grabs in this edition of Muddle the Murd are 2 sketches.
Count them.
1, 2.
Got 2
I must apologize because we have our technical glitches. With the echoing in the background, I almost want to yell, "Turn down your radio!" like it did back in the old days. But anyway, that's just me. First is a Steve Ellis Wonder Woman sketch.
Wonder Woman.
And pardon me. And then we have from the Surrogates a Steeplejack sketch by Brett Welderly. Up for grabs, which could be yours if you muddle the murd. And this group of questions was sent in by Ryan Porter. He says, "Hey, geeks and murd. I've been listening for years."
He's not one of us. Murd's not one of us.
It's kind of the syntactic implication that I don't think that's what Ryan meant.
I'm
I know.
just reading.
Hope not.
I think he's putting Murd above us. That's what's happening.
Again, I hope not. For it is not my deserving. Anyway, please proceed. Ryan.
Yes, it is.
I've been listening for years, and I thought it was about time to send in some questions for Murd. Question 1, Marvel pre-1970.
Okay.
In The Amazing Spider-Man number 14, the first appearance of the Green Goblin, the Goblin tricks Spider-Man into appearing in a movie, hoping to ambush him with the help of the Enforcers. What other character shows up ruining the Green Goblin's plans and everyone else's day?
I'm leaning towards the Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk is correct.
Wow.
All right.
Nice.
You are leaning in the right direction.
Leaning towards old green jeans.
Right. Question 2, DC 1970 to 2000. Name the D-list Superman villain that makes their first appearance in Action Comics number 460 and note it now. So that would be enough to stump him right there. But he goes on that this character notably suffers from superpower allergies.
Ryan probably knows that I've mentioned this character on the show before. He's perhaps testing my own recall of my own statements here. But the character's name is Carb Brak, Karb-Brak, which is a palindrome.
That is correct. And my favorite palindrome of all time, now that you asked, is a man, a plan, a canal, Panama. That's my favorite palindrome of all time. So, yes, he's 2 for 2 right now. Going for the trifecta. Independent, 2000 to present. Present. In 2005, David Peterson introduced the world to Mouse Guard. It says hold for applause.
Yay.
The main stories of the Mouse Guard books focus on 3 mousy members of the Guard. Name one of them. Anyone.
Anyone. I don't think I can do this. I've read a Mouse Guard story here and there, particularly those flip books that Archaea did with Fraggle Rock, for example. But yeah, I'm not sure I can. Yeah. I'm just going to make up a name here. Greycrest.
No. Oh, it could have been a trifecta. Anyway, the answers are either Liam, Saxon, or Kenzie.
I was a long way from any one of those.
All right. So, Ryan, you did not muddle Adam, but he does have here a bonus fun fact. He says, I discovered CGS through David Peterson when he posted about an interview he's done for a comic podcast, and he's been listening ever since.
Nice.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, David. Sorry, I don't know your characters better.
But then Ryan also says at the very end here, he goes, in truth, I'm not too concerned about actually muddling the Murd. This entire entry was an elaborate ruse to try and get Murd to talk about Crab Brak. I came across one of his few appearances randomly at a garage sale a while back and have been mildly obsessed with him ever since. Once upon a time, I had my own podcast, and a listener got me a Crab Brak custom figure. He's still on my desk and always will be. No one ever knows who I'm talking about, though. Help me, Murd. You're my only hope.
Carb Brak action figure. Well, right there on your desk in all of his purple and gold clad, pasty, white-skinned, bizarre, red mustached glory. Yep, he's from an alien planet from which he was exiled because he was allergic to the superpowers of his fellow planetary residents, and he came to Earth only to discover the last Kryptonian, and apparently Kryptonian DNA is sufficiently similar to that of his own species that he was violently allergic to Superman, too. He was driven mad by this allergic reaction and went to all kinds of extremes to try to eliminate Superman's presence. In one bicentennial story, he even went so far as to punch Superman all the way back to 1776 in order to get rid of him and relieve his allergies. But yeah, he's a very unusual-looking fellow. I'm designed by Kurt Swan, I'm almost sure. And I've drawn comparisons between his peculiar facial hair. I mentioned the bizarre red mustache he's got going on, which grows like up the sides of both cheeks and meets like right above his nose, I think. I've compared that to the way my face looked right after my sinus surgery several years ago, when I had like this strange upside down like gauze bandage thing stuck on my nose. I just kind of reminded myself of Carb Brak. So there you go, Ryan. That's probably the most airtime outside of your own podcast that poor Carb Brak has ever received.
Well,
But yes,
Adam,
I know him. I love him too.
Adam, I did forward you his email because it does have a picture attached of that action figure.
Oh, nice.
Oh, right. I will look at that very soon.
Okay.
I don't think I can take the risk right now, though, because I don't want to overload my laptop and risk kicking myself off this recording the way I did the last one.
Yes.
But thank you very much for contributing, Ryan. And no muddle, but I hope you got your money's worth.
You know, every now and then I'll get lucky enough to happen on Facebook when David's
Doing a
drawing
live?
a live thing, and I'll go in, open it fully, watch it, comment a couple things, and they talk about it and say hi or something. So that's always a lot of fun. and it's so interesting to watch him draw. I got to do it for like 45 minutes the one time as I was washing dishes, and just spectacular to see him go from start to finish with all the whole process. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I never seem to catch things like that live. I mean, they're usually archived, I guess.
They are.
sometimes
But it's so much fun to do it when you can catch it live. I did it for J.K. Woodward as well.
Yeah,
when he
because I
was
know
doing a few
JK's
things.
done some things live. I also see Walden Wong, the inker, has done some things live. I think Martheus Wade, has done some things live. Again, sometimes the internet can be a cool thing.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, forgive me, that I should have known better, but when I realized I was going to need a new vehicle, I posted on the Facebook that, hey, do you have any suggestions? And people just decided to bring out their funny and started posting like the Batmobile, the Flintstones mobile, right, the Monkey Mobile.
Loved Dastardly's car. The real car somebody built. Yeah. Oh, my God.
So I did a few suggestions in there of actual things that were helpful.
I did try to be helpful.
But I was like, oh, you guys are helping. Internet. I'm going to read a email we got from a listener. His name is T. Scott Benefield, M.D., pediatrician by day, comic book and stamp collector by night. He says, greetings. A note to say I thoroughly enjoyed episode 1666, and if you will indulge, some follow-up regarding the DC superhero stamp album comics mentioned in that episode. By chance, I am both a stamp collector and a comic book collector since my youth over 40 years ago. Perfect Synergy came about in 1999 with the USPS release of the Celebrate the Century stamp collection. The 1930s set saw the release of the first U.S. stamp featuring Superman, hence the involvement with DC. There was a huge marketing campaign with many Superman stamp collectibles, including pins, magnets, sweatshirts, Christmas ornaments. Hint, hint. Hello there, Adam.
Yes, I'm listening. I own a couple of them, you know.
I'm sure you do. And the comic book stamp albums, which featured all these centuries despite Superman being the obvious focus for the 1930s. The first day ceremony for the stamp was held in Cleveland, of course, where Siegel and Schuster were from, and featured family members of the Schuster and Siegels, in addition to the actors who played Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane in the 1950s TV series. The reason I point this out is that I exhibit my Superman stamp collection at stamp shows sometimes. It is entitled, It's a Bird, It's a Plane, It's a Stamp. I also have some of the, he says some, which means more than one. He has some of the original Dick Giordano art from the stamp album comics he displays as well.
Nice.
Nice, because I have that 1-2 page spread I mentioned of Mike Collins and Tom Palmer from the 40s talking about television. Another highlight of my exhibit is a giant 5-foot-plus standee of 1930 Superman that was displayed in my post office back then. In it, I give away said stamp albums to kids attending stamp shows. So again, you get kids interested in a hobby like stamp collecting and comics. How about that? Now he goes, this is probably too much info and maybe a bit boring. Well, not to me. But I have to say, now you know the rest of the story.
And not to me either. Carlene got me those books for Christmas one year. And the Action Comics #1 reprint with the canceled stamp on it.
Nice.
Yes, and Brian did bring his copies of the Stamp album comics published by DC at the end of the 90s along to Stone Harbor this weekend. So I got to see them in person. There's really an impressive array of different artists who worked on those things. Written by, Doug Monk, actually, wrote the first few issues, and he's a widely read gentleman and something of a history buff, so a perfect choice to do the little 1 or 2 page historical retrospectives of which these books are composed. And the last few were written by Bob Rozakis, DC's former Answer Man and creator of Amazing Man. So, so good writing talent, good art, and it was kind of ingenious the way they found ways to incorporate little spaces to insert the stamps in each of those drawn pages of comic art.
Yep. Going to move on now to a couple of Kickstarters that were recently launched, involving some people you might have heard about here on CGS in the past. Up first, from Dave Dwanch, Prom of the Dead is currently on Kickstarter. It's an 80-page coming-of-age graphic novel set against a very different kind of zombie outbreak. The horror begins on prom night. The story centers around the students of Pineview Academy, a fictional private school in upstate New York. As they get ready for prom, a spore with similar properties to, oh my goodness, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that insect.
I'd help you if I could, Brian, but I don't have the name of the fungus in question in front of me.
Okay. It infects them one by one, turning them into zombie-like drones, slaves to a hive mind. As the outbreak spreads rapidly through the school at the celebration, it's clear to everyone that no one is getting out alive. So this is actually a 100% creator-owned project. Because Dave has done things in the past, through Action Lab. Mm-hmm. It's truly a labor of love. And it goes, with your help, they are hoping to cover the production cost and print cost for this graphic novel. And let's see, this started about, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's about 2 or more weeks to go here. More like 3 weeks. So it's at the halfway-ish point, and he's raised about half of his goal. Nice. He's got a very modest goal of $8,000. He's got almost $3,700 there. So you can check that with Kickstarter. Search for Prom of the Dead. Now, this next Kickstarter was released, as we record this, yesterday, September 18th. Mm-hmm. It's by Iron Spike, and it's The Complete Girls with Slingshots by Danielle Corsetto. So it's a huge deluxe edition, everything collected. Let me just read down here if I can find about the collection. The Complete Girls with Slingshots not only includes every single Girls with Slingshot strip ever uploaded, some with touched-up art, but a ton of extras, like behind-the-scenes art, creator commentary, and some never-before-seen comics, all in full and glorious color. As a matter of fact, we've got so much good stuff here that we can't even put it all in one volume. So we're not printing just one volume, but 2, approximately 360 pages each, and coming in an incredibly beautiful foil-embossed slipcase designed by Danielle herself. So this project was launched about 24 hours ago, as we're discussing this. Yep. And it's one of those all-or-nothing goals, and its goal was $50,000. They have already more than doubled that. They're over $102,000 right now.
I didn't look at it today to see what it was up to.
That's incredible.
Son of a gun.
Incredible. Wow. They have 959 backers. Wow. The big thing is for $75 or more, you get the books, which is the hardcover 2-book edition, and a free DRM-free PDF of the same. And, of course, there's other bonus things. But I saw that, and I'm looking at it today, and it's like, wow.
I just read through it last night, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it to know that they've already doubled that. Oh, my God, in a day. Wow.
Yeah, they still have 28 days to go.
Yeah.
And they made $100,000 in 2 days.
Wow.
Danielle has got some really loyal fans.
She sure does. Sure does. What a great talent. What a great creator, and just a great all around person. Because she's been down to the Stone Harbor a couple of times as well.
Sure.
Yep. She would have been there this time, except the Small Press Expo was the same time. So again, curse you, September.
All right. I'm sorry, Jim, for me rambling on it. But anybody anything else you guys want to bring up?
I picked up just about all of those Kirby. Oversized special issues. I think the only one I didn't get yet is Sandman. Somehow I got 2 copies of New Gods. Oh, God.
You can borrow my Sandman if you want, Shane. That's one of the few that I did get.
Okay. Still keeping up with Justice League. That's really good. Batman's going good. I'm trying to think of something really out there that I read that just blew me away. Still loving Blue Beetle. God, that book can do no wrong for me right now. That's so much fun. And I'm trying to get through a couple novels. That's about it.
And your actual books?
Yeah. I'm trying to read The Circle. And I'm trying to reread Heir to the Empire just because I feel Star Wars-y nostalgic. I love that book. That's about it.
Okay.
I got Wonder Woman today and watched that already once.
Oh, the Blu-ray?
Yeah. Still, I loved it the first time. So this is the second time I've gotten to see it, and it still holds up great.
Now, did you watch it or? Just...
Oh no, I watched it.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah, I popped it in the the Blu-ray player, and I watched it.
Okay.
It was good, all good.
Did you watch any of the extras?
Only the epilogue,
which I heard about but haven't seen. I know it was posted online, but I haven't.
Why they didn't put that at the end of the movie, I have no idea.
Okay, all I know about it, and I think it has to do with Etta Candy and Steve Trevor. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to tiptoe on the tulips.
Yeah. But talk about what I was waiting for at the end of the movie, after the credits, or just before, whatever you want to say for an end scene, little bonus thing. That would have been perfect. I don't know why. I mean, I'm glad it's there, but I don't know why they didn't throw that on to the movie to begin with, for having an extra scene in every other movie under the sun. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I thought it was going to go one of 2 ways, and it did go one way that I thought, but I was kind of hoping for the other way, just for my own little panache of what I thought was going to be said. Yeah, that was on the toilet paper today.
You have more than day toilet paper?
No. But yeah, that was a fun scene. I didn't get to watch the extended scenes or any of the other. There's a lot of material in the extras for all kinds of different things to watch. The making of, the special effects of, about the director, about Wonder Woman and all. It looks very, very robust for extras on a Blu-ray, so I was happy about that.
A couple other side notes about Stone Harbor. First of all, a big thank you for Adam, who came to pick me up and take me home after the accident.
Yeah.
Think nothing of it, Brian. It's what friends do.
Did you turn right around and go right back then, Adam?
That's exactly what I did, Shane.
Yeah,
as soon as I found my way out of Reading.
So you made out alive then?
More challenging than I made out to you, Brian. So I found my way out to Canal Street, where there was a horrible smell lingering in the air, and finally got my ship righted and got myself back down here before midnight.
I think before I left Stone Harbor, I realized there was a couple of auctions on Heritage. They have a Sunday auction every Sunday for comics and original art. I was at a couple of pages. I said, you know what? If I'm on the road, I may not get a chance to bid. So let me just put some bids in for what I thought. And, of course, then I had the accident, and we're driving home, and I thought, let me check the auctions, because I'm hoping, actually, I don't win them, because I know I just had an accident with a car.
Right.
So I'm watching it, and it's going, and it keeps going, and son of a bitch, if it didn't end at my highest bid, and I won them.
Oh, man.
I don't think you stopped right there. It's like they knew about my last bid, because he kept bidding, and because I had like a set bid, and it kept. And then he waited, and it said fair warning, and it would close it. Oh no! When he opened it again, it's like, no, I didn't. And so I won them. It's like, I mean, okay, they're great pages. I'll get them. But tonight, as we record this in about, I'm going to check on it right now as I'm talking to you. I have on Comic Link. Now I did this 2 weeks ago because I was talking to a friend of mine. And I said, well, there's this cover up there, but I know what it originally was sold for. and it'd be nice to have it, but I don't necessarily need it. Like, I have to go after it hardcore. So he goes, well, then just shut up and just put in your max bid and walk away. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what, you're right. Put my max bid and walked away. And with, let's see, 2 hours and 8 minutes yet, I'm still the high bidder. And it's like, come on, please, somebody outbid me. Because it's already at 4 figures right now.
Holy crap.
It's only $1,000.
Oh, sure.
Only $1,000. PayPal, 6 months interest free. Sell some plasma, whatever. But it's like, oh my God, somebody please outbid me. But I'm pretty confident from track records of these kind of things in the past that it'll go for more than what I put in, because it's like 1 or 2 more bids and I'm out. Yeah. And it's like, okay, then I'm at peace with that, go forth. But it's like, come on, please, outbid me. I don't want to spend that on a cover.
I'm not going to wish you well or not well because I haven't had a good year, so I'm not going to be of any help at all.
But yeah, because we're driving home, and Adam he's driving, and I'm just looking at my phone, and I go, It's like, oh my God, I want him. So I guess I'm happy that I won these pages because they're consecutive, and it's nice. But it's like, why did I?
Crap.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's why they're called accidents, because accidents happen.
Yeah.
So
they sure do.
All right. I'm sorry again if I've rambled on and on, but is anything else to bring it to the attention of the group?
Yes, I think I've got something to contribute.
Yay.
All right. Now, talking of strange, over-the-top things that we've read lately, as Shane mentioned, this seems as good a time as any to sound off on a pack of comics that I received in the mail lately. I'm sure you guys remember this. Our listener, Chris Beckett, at some expenditure of effort and coin of his own, sent me a pack of New Universe comics to read a little while ago. Remember that box coming into the studio?
Yep.
Absolutely.
I was hoping for a pit.
Now read it's in, I'm sorry, were you saying something, Shane?
I was hoping for a pit issue.
A pit. Nope. No, not quite yet. This is early New Universe we're talking about here. Yep. The beginnings, the dawn of the New Universe, right after the so-called White Event that gave all the denizens of the New Universe their superhuman powers. So this is one of the original New Universe series from 1986, Psi-Force. Chris Beckett has been a particular fan of that series since it was first published, and so he went out of his way to see that I received the first 10 issues of that series for my consideration. And so I was most grateful to Chris for giving me the opportunity to explore the New Universe in a little more detail, having read the first and only trade of Starbrand a little while ago. And so now I've read the first 10 issues of Psi-Force. It's from a concept created by Archie Goodwin and Walt Simonson, although those two gentlemen did not actually create any of these first 10 issues of the comic that they conceived of. Most of these 10 issues are written by Danny Fingeroth and drawn by Mark Texiera, some of his earliest comics work, in fact. And if I'm going to high-concept Psi-Force for you, it's kind of like, I'm going to go with X-Men meets the Forever People meets the Breakfast Club. Okay. It's very 80s. It's written in a very much a post Roy Thomas and Chris Claremont 80s style of exposition heavy storytelling. It's about a group of 5 young people who, in the wake of the White Event, like many other people on New Universe Earth, suddenly find themselves with mysterious paranormal powers. And it's also the story of a CIA agent named Emmett Proudhawk, who has been compiling a list, sort of like a Schindler's List kind of thing, of at-risk young people who have developed these powers. And he's using his CIA resources to put this list together. But then the list is stolen and leaked by shadowy forces, and suddenly crime cartels and would-be world conquerors and so forth, they're all out to get all the kids on this list, either to eliminate them or to enslave them. And so Proudhawk in the first issue is going about desperately trying to gather together as many of them as he can. He can only save 5 of them before he himself is gunned down by one of these sinister forces. But these 5 kids discover that by concentrating on the memory of Emmett Proudhawk, who saved them from all these bad people and brought them together, they can summon up forth their own version of the Infinity Man. This is where the Forever People angle comes in, called the Psi-Hawk, who looks an awful lot like Emmett Proudhawk. He's dressed in an outfit that looks kind of like Apache ceremonial garb and kind of like samurai armor. He's kind of like a Captain Planet figure, as in by your powers combined, in that he has all the powers of the 5 kids who summon him. And whenever they summon him, he's like 5 times as strong as they are. He can just defeat whatever force is threatening them, and then just kind of stares at them. He never speaks. He just gives them an ominous gaze, and then he disappears into thin air. And so Psyhawk being summoned is kind of a recurring motif of the series. It's Psyhawk, unlike Infinity Man, though, he's not just like the savior of these 5 kids. He's also their jailer, because he exerts this bizarre supernatural force over the kids. He like psychically compels them to stay together, because these 5 kids, they're very different. This is where the Breakfast Club angle comes in. They're like different teen stereotypes. You got your jock, your bespectacled science nerd, your teen princess, your stereotypical leather jacket wearing wannabe rebel. They really don't like each other very much, and they keep trying to leave one another, but they keep getting drawn back by the psychic influence of this Psyhawk thing. So they're forced to just cool their heels in this refuge for teen runaways in the San Francisco area, trying to go to school, trying to lead normal lives. The whole thing kind of begins to feel a little bit like an CBS after-school special, or is it? Or do I have the wrong network there? Was it ABC that did those?
I think it was ABC.
I think it was ABC.
Okay. Thank you. I kind of thought so. It feels like an after-school special with superpowers. And just the little problems that these kids run into at the same time as being sought after by shadowy government operatives and fellow superhumans working for shadowy government operatives and Russian gangsters and stuff like that. And so the first 10 issues is just the main storyline doesn't progress very quickly. There's a lot of recap. There's a lot of very wordy exposition. Danny Fingeroff tends to be a little heavy-handed with that, and continued to be in the 90s when he wrote Darkhawk. It's the characters are a little thin but likable. As I said, the plot is a little slow-moving over these first 10 issues, but I found it basically a rewarding read in the end. Issue number 9 actually contains the first ever published work by one of my favorite writers, Fabian Nicieza, who had been working for Marvel in other capacities. Like, he was a production assistant, he worked at the advertising department. This was the first comic story he ever sold to them in Cyforce number 9, and I've learned that starting with issue number 16, this ran for 32 issues, by the way, he ended up writing the whole second half of the series. So that's for that alone, I might end up seeking out the rest of this series just to see what Fabian Nicieza does with the characters beyond what the first couple of writers, including Danny Fingeroff, did with it. So I thank Chris Beckett again for exposing me to this series and this interesting little handful of totally 80s characters. I'd give it 3 frickin' swears. And also a special shout-out to Johnny Hates Chachi on the forums, who is a huge New Universe fan. His sign-off on the forums on all his posts is Manyakante, which is the name of one of the main characters in Kickers, Inc., another New Universe title. I know he'd been wanting to hear what I had to say about Cyforce, and, well, Johnny, now you heard it.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. Is there anything else, gentlemen, to bring up, or are we going to adjourn for the evening?
I don't have anything else.
Just
glad to be back for an episode.
Adjournment is appropriate.
All right. Well, then, again, thank you for joining us for this episode. This episode, once again, was brought to you by Zia Comics. Check them out at ziacomics.com, as well as their YouTube channel, and as well as talknerdypodcast.com.
Visit us at comicgeekspeak.com to send an email. Send it to comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. To leave a voicemail, the number is 267-702-6642. Stop by thecomicforums.vanillaforums.com and comment on this episode and others and let us know what you're thinking. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Thanks to everyone who contributes to the episodes, to our friendships, sending us goodies when it's not necessarily but very much appreciated. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
Laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything